Hi, everybody. I want to go over how to fill out the Unit 3 Argumentative Research Essay outline. So you will open up the document as you see here, and of course you'll need to save it and then begin to fill it out. Notice that I try to make it clear what parts of it you need to fill out by putting a colon next to anything that needs information. So please make sure that you put information if you see a colon. All right, so the outline is the organization that your essay will have. So I think it helps you understand the sequence of information that you're going to provide. So you can see that you're going to have an introductory paragraph, you're going to have a background paragraph, then you're going to have a paragraph, or could be more if necessary, that supports your first reason to support your position. And then the fourth section is supporting information for your second reason. Fifth section is your third reason and its support. You'll have a section on the counter argument. You'll rebut the counter argument, and then you'll conclude. This paper has to be at least 7 to 8 pages, not counting the title page and references page. So it's a long paper. You need to make sure you have adequate information. All right, so you're going to start with the introduction. The first thing you need to fill in is your hook. So how are you going to begin the essay? Please keep in mind that this essay is strictly in third-person point of view. So you will not be saying we, I, us, and neither will you be saying you or your in this paper. So you do want to engage the reader. You do not want to just start out with your position. You do want to get some interest on the topic or introduce the topic in some way. So asking a question, providing an interesting statistic, giving a brief scenario, some kind of a challenging statement. All of those would be fine. Just make sure that you do not use the first or second person point of view. All right, and then the next part of your introduction, where you will be writing information, is a brief background about your topic. So you've introduced what the topic is in that first statement, and then why is this debatable? So, and you can look back in your previous papers because you really talked about this before. So feel free to use things that you did in previous papers to help you with this one. And then you're going to end your introduction with your position on your debatable topic. Then you're going to move on to the background. And this is the place that you have not done before in any of your previous papers, other than briefly. So here is where you want to give the reader an overview of the issue, when it became a thing, you know, how it developed, where it is today. So a little bit of a timeline or a little bit of an overview of the topic. In this section also, if you need to define any terms, this is the place to do that. You would assume that your readership is a general audience. So if it's a more technical term or a term that maybe people wouldn't be familiar with, this is the place to define those terms. So both of those things should be done here. So here you have a place to list any terms that need to be debated. Don't define obvious terms that everybody knows. If you really do not have any definitions that you need to explore in this section, you could just say not applicable. For the history, you may already know enough to give that overview of when this issue began, how it's developed, where it stands today. If not, you are going to have to find that information. You can go to an internet search and look at the history of whatever the topic is, and see if you can find another source. Remember, any new sources you must add to your references page and cite. Another place you could go, though, is to SIRS. So if you don't have enough background information, if you go back to where you found your topic initially, so let's say it has to do with social media, and this is where you got your research question. If you go to the timeline, obviously you're going to get an overview. This will be way too detailed for you to put in your background paragraph, but you can look through and see if there's any information that would help you know when it began and what were some significant events along the way and where it stands today. So feel free to add that information. To cite the source, which you will need to do, you can see that the title will be here at the top of the timeline. It also will tell you the date here as well. And this source is from ProQuest. There's also a cite button, and make sure you go to the APA 7th style, and then you'll see. Now, this is not exactly correct. The periods are kind of in the wrong place, but it will show you the title, the date, and the source, which is really all you need. Okay, so hopefully that will help you give a little bit of an overview. Notice that I have 1, 2, 3 items here for those details. You certainly may add to that. I would say you would need at least 3 pieces of information here to give an overview, but you may certainly add more. All right, then you're going to come to your reasons. And for each one of them, you are going to use information from your 6 or 7 sources that you have collected throughout the semester. So all of those articles you're going to use for this final paper. Here, after the colon, list the fact. If you need to quote something, please make sure that you put quote marks around it so that I know that you are copying. If you are just summarizing it or paraphrasing it, then you would not need to do that. Try to find the most specific things that you can. Statistics, facts, dates, studies, those kinds of things are strong evidence rather than just an overall opinion. So try to get facts and good hard evidence. Whether or not you quote or paraphrase, you must put the citation. So remember, I need to know the author's last name and the year. And for here, I would also like to know the location. For most of your sources, it's probably a paragraph number. So I do expect the detail and the citation. Do not write out multiple sentences. I just want to see a list of these facts. Again, there's 3 items here, 3 details listed. You need at least that many, but certainly add to that if you can. The more supporting evidence you have, the stronger your paper. Also, for each reason, you must use at least 2 of your sources. I don't want you to rely on just one article for a reason. You need to make sure it's backed up by others as well. So I want to see at least 2 different sources used for each of your reasons. And throughout these reasons, I need to see all 7 sources used somewhere. So make sure you do that. All right, then you come to the counter argument. Oh, by the way, let me just say that for each of these reasons, there's a colon here. Please write out the reason. Don't skip that, very important. All right, counter argument. You're going to actually explain what the counter argument would be against your position. So you'll write that out here, and then give me at least 2 supporting pieces of information with the citations for why that position, has some merit. Again, you can add more if you like, but at least 2. And then the rebuttal, you're going to write here how you would speak back against that counter argument. Yes, I recognize that you say this, but this is really the case. So you're going to state that here, and then again, 2 supporting details. Now here you should be directly countering the counter argument as opposed to just going back here and saying the same thing that you've already said. All right, and then you'll come to your conclusion. First, you want to restate the basic issue, explain your position again, and of course why that is an important position to take. This is a good place to show why this is important and how this should be thought of for the future, but be careful that you don't go into the you point of view or the I or we point of view. Just state it's important that people do this, or it's important to recognize whatever. All right, and then a final sentence to give an overall wrap-up conclusion of your essay. All right, and then I want you to list your references. Try to put those in APA format. So you'll put the author, the date in parentheses, the title, the source, a web address if you got it from the internet, a DOI number if there was one, especially with a more scholarly article, and do the best you can on that so that I can help spot check you for your references page. The requirement for this essay is that you must have 6 credible sources. Obviously, add more if you used more than that. I cannot grade a paper that uses fewer than 6 sources. So make sure that you do use all 6 or 7 sources that you have. All right, hopefully that will help you as you fill out this document.